think just the consistency that Coach B and the rest of the staff brings every day, and players are buying in. And I think as we continue to recruit well and do some things on the field, and I think you'll continue to see hopefully growth and improvement, and we'll see kind of how the rest of the league happens. But we're excited about what we can bring. We're excited about where this program is headed, and hopefully we see the result here shortly.
Do you think it'd be big, maybe, for the current team to meet and talk with some of those 2001 guys, just to kind of hear about a Big Ten championship season, maybe kind of what they went through to get to that point, because it wasn't straightforward.
Yeah, sure.
Title for them either.
I think anytime you bring in people that have had success, that had experience, they know what it's like to go through some adversity. They know what it's like to go through, a losing season, obviously a tremendously successful season. And I think that's anytime you can bring experience back and share that, there's learning involved, right? There's things that they know that they've gone through. I mean, camps were different, right? I mean, fall camp was way different back then. That's 20 years ago, but that was 3 days every day, right? I mean, so just those experiences, I think, provide a little bit of perspective to these guys, and I think that'll be very neat for them to see that, and see that what this place really was when it was rocking, and I think that can be really cool for them.
I apologize if you've been asked already, but what do you think about the growth of Julian? We talked to us earlier this week, and he was just saying, he's looking back on just his time here already. He's like, man, I've learned so much about just the details of being, a good offensive lineman.
Yeah, Julian is a fantastic worker. He works incredibly hard. He's dedicated. The things you just said, obviously how much he's grown. That's him putting in that work. That's him putting in all the effort and all the time, and been very impressed with that part of it. And it's not easy. Not easy to grow and do those things in such a short period of time with a new transition, a new staff coming in. So been very pleased with what he's been able to do, and it all stems from how hard he works. So give him all the credit. I think he's a very special player, very special person, young man, and I'm excited to see where he can go. Continue to go.
Apologize if you've answered this as well, but I only get 20 minutes to see you guys practice a couple times a week. Your guys seem to really rally around you and your kind of charisma. What's that like for a kind of group of guys to really rally around you?
Well, I'm obviously we're in this thing together, right? It's not coach versus player. It's us together for one common goal. And I think if I bring the energy and they bring energy, right, we can accomplish quite a bit of things. And so I try to lead them, but motivate them also, and then there's a trust factor there, right? They got to know that I'm going to give my best and put them in a position to be successful, and I trust that they're going to continue to execute, and they're going to give me everything they have to practice. And when we can come out there and do those things together, we all know we're working towards something. We're working to get better every day. We ratchet up that level of intensity. Usually good things happen, right? And I think people gravitate towards that type of emotion. This is an emotional game. This is a physical game, and you have to play with those things in order to have success. So that's what we try to do.
You've spoke really highly of this group really since you've got here with guys like V, Palcho, Doug, obviously kind of leading that group. How much have you seen that kind of maybe emotion and juice, I guess for lack of a better term, kind of grow since back in December, January when you were hired?
Well, I think those three that you mentioned, Doug and Vidarian and Palcho, those guys obviously came in together or closely related to each other, have continued through this process, this 4, 5, 6 year process for some of them. And so they've been through so many ups and downs. They've been through 2 new position coach changes and seen different offenses and things, and guys going in the league, guys get hurt. They've been through so much together that I think those three have an incredible bond that then permeates through the rest of the group, right? Those guys see the younger players, the Julian Pearls, right? The Jordan Slaughters, the Alex Pilstroms. They see those guys and the success they've had, but they see how hard they work. And that's, I think I mentioned this a couple weeks ago, just how hard Vidarian works at practice, right? How hard Doug worked through the offseason to fix some things, some weaknesses in his game. I mean, those things don't just happen. You have to work towards those. And when you have your older players, your best players, your most experienced players, putting in that level of work, that level of dedication to the craft and to the team, I think that just provides an excellent example for everybody else. So that's the biggest thing of what that's done. It's they've grown as leaders, they've grown as men, and I'm very proud of them for that.
You've spoken in the past about O-line pride and that culture within that room. What's it been like for you now that you've been in training camp for close to 2 full weeks to really be fully engulfed into the O-line pride culture that's been developed here over the past several years?
Well, it's an honor, obviously, to come in and lead these guys, and that was one thing we wanted to give some substance to. Is they say don't mind pride, that was everywhere, but what did it really mean? And I think when we started laying out really together what that meant to them, not only on the field but in the meeting room, in the weight room, in their daily life, what they're actually playing for. I think that just added so much more significance to that saying and to that culture, and it's deeper than that for us. It's an ethos. It's something that we believe in. It's not affected by one guy or the other, right? It's something that's ingrained in them, and I think they're very proud of that, and I'm certainly proud to be a part of that too.
One thing you preach a lot is physicality. How much has that kind of gone into building this culture within your group, and how much do you think that's kind of added to the relationship that guys have?
I think it's everything. I think we play the most physical position in sports, and I mean, every play we're hitting, every play we're making contact, and we have to train that way. You have to develop guys for that mentality, and I think they appreciate that. They might not always like the grind, but you learn to certainly appreciate that, and you're proud of what you go through, and then through those hardships build, right, that cohesiveness, that chemistry, and I think physicality is at the root of all of that, right? You have to be physical to be successful.
In the video that was posted on Twitter when you were mic'd up, I think you said a couple of times there, you're either the most physical group in the country or you're not. How much emphasis are you putting on being the most physical group in the country, and how do you go about measuring that, and if there's a possible way to do that?
Yeah, that's a great question. That's the goal, right? And I mean, you can turn on the film and you can see the line of scrimmage change, or you can see how you're getting your combinations, or how many knockdowns or pancakes a guy has, things like that. I think for us, we chart knockdowns, we chart and seek out pancakes. We want those things happening, right? We want to be able to change the line of scrimmage. We want to be able to dominate our opponent. But that doesn't you can't just say those things, right? You have to work towards those things. You have to train towards those things. And it does have to become a fabric of who you are as a program. And so that's been a big part of that. And I don't know if you'll ever know if you're there. I think you have to continue to gauge just on the result on the field, right? How physically you play, how you are moving, right? And obviously rushing total statistics, all those things kind of go into it, but that's not the end all be all, right? You turn on the film and are you moving your man against his will? Are you changing the line of scrimmage? Are you doing everything we talk about, or is it just verbiage, right? And I think that's a big way to measure that, and I think as the guys continue to gain more confidence, they play the way they're capable of, I think hopefully you'll start to see that.